Hello, thank you for joining with me. We are in A Course in Miracles workbook for students, part 2 of the workbook, lesson 241 in section 3, What is the World? Please read the What is the World section in its entirety at some point today. Lesson 241, This holy instant is salvation come. What joy there is today! It is a special time of celebration, for today holds out the instant to the darkened world where its release is set. Okay, I interchanged some words there, so let me read this sentence again. It is a time of special celebration, for today holds out the instant to the darkened world where its release is set. The day has come when sorrows pass away and pain is gone. The glory of salvation dawns today upon a world set free. This is the time of hope for countless millions. They will be united now as you forgive them all, for I will be forgiven by you today. Footnote 41. Forgiving Jesus is a theme from the text that is also found in part 2 of the workbook. See lessons 288 and 342, which we haven't gotten to yet. Jesus asks us to forgive him because he says, I became a symbol of your sin, the symbol of guilt. This refers to the fact that history has come to see him as a divine judge who came to reprove the world of sin and to die for our sins. When we look on him, therefore, we are reminded of our own sinfulness. In the Course, he asks us to forgive him for this, since this is only what history has erroneously made of him. As today's lesson implies, when we finally forgive him for what he never was, we, in effect, forgive everyone. We have forgiven one another now, and so we come at last to you again. Father, your Son, who never left, returns to heaven and his home. How glad are we to have our sanity restored to us, and to remember we are all one. We all are one. Lesson 241, This holy instant is salvation come. And I read the practice suggestion and now the commentary by Alan Watson. When the lesson says that today is a time of special celebration, I rather suspect it is using the word special in the same way it uses it one place in the text, where Jesus says, all my brothers are special. Today is special because in the holy instant, salvation has already come. And yet, you can claim the holy instant anytime and anywhere you want it. Whenever you claim the holy instant, it is a special time, a day of joy. This is like telling a child that they can have Christmas every day if they want it. And indeed, the Course tells us exactly that in the section titled The Time of Rebirth, written at Christmas. It tells us that Christmas is the time of Christ, and the time of Christ is the holy instant. And then it tells us it is in your power to make the time of Christ be now. And so, why not today? Why not every day? Why not now? Anytime I want to, I can make it a time when sorrows pass away and pain is gone. The practice of the holy instant offers me this. Within my mind, I can, at any instant, open a window onto the real world and breathe its fragrant atmosphere. I can experience a united world drawn together by my forgiveness. I do not yet find that I experience bliss the moment I close my eyes and say, this holy instant is salvation come. The reality I have experienced from time to time is always there. I am certain of that. Yet my awareness of it remains spotty, very spotty. But once you have tasted it, and in that instant known that what you are experiencing is eternal, you can never fully doubt its eternal presence. There are still many barriers blocking my awareness of it. I am still holding on to quite a few of those barriers. My grievances are still most of the time hiding the light of the world from me. But it is there. My forgiveness can release it. Every time I pause to remember, every time I attempt to claim the holy instant, another barrier falls. Another drop of willingness is added to my reservoir. What better way could I possibly spend my time? I'm having difficulties turning the page. Okay. Lesson 127 said, there is no better use for time than this. See paragraphs 7 and 8. One aside. Notice that in 1:8 Jesus speaks of our forgiving Him. Let me examine myself today to see if there is something I still hold against Him, something in Him I mistrust, some way in which I still fear Him or blame Him or resent Him. Even if I respect Him as my teacher, it is very easy to feel resentful of one's teacher. Now, if you will please close your eyes, and I will lead us in meditation of Lesson 241. This holy instant is salvation come. We have forgiven one another now, and so we come at last to you again. Father, your Son, who never left, returns to heaven and His home. How glad are we to have our sanity restored to us, and to remember that we all are one. This holy instant is salvation come. The following visualization may help you fully experience the meaning of today's lesson. And today's lesson was, this holy instant is salvation come. I'd like to read this because it could help going forward. Imagine a city or town, a place where there are large amounts of people just before sunrise. The sun begins to peek over the horizon, but this is not the usual sun. This is the sunrise of salvation. Now hear these lines. The day has come when sorrows pass away and pain is gone. Imagine that wherever the rays of this sun touch, sorrow passes away. Imagine them touching a hospital and all pain within it is gone. The glory of salvation dawns today upon a world set free. What is dawning is not mere physical light, it is salvation. Because of this dawning, the world will be set free today. This is the time of hope for countless millions. Imagine countless millions waking up to this sunrise, not as they normally do, numb with despair and dreading what the day may bring, but filled with hope. Watch fear disappear from every face as hearts rise up and claim the light as theirs. They will be united now. Picture people all over joining with one another. See them joining hands. See them feeling at one. See countless millions greeting the sunrise as one family. Now realize that the sun is not just salvation. It is something far more specific. It is your forgiveness of the world. Your forgiveness has this kind of power. It has the power to set the world free. It has the power, once unleashed, to give the world this kind of dawn. So choose someone you have not forgiven and say to him or her, this holy instant is salvation come because I have forgiven you. Keep repeating it, realizing that each repetition invites this glorious dawn to illumine the world. so much for joining with me in the meditation of Lesson 241. Now we will read a section of What is the World, and I will read Alan Watson's commentary on it. Paragraph 1. The world is false perception. It is born of error, and it has not left its source. It will remain no longer than the thought that gave it birth is cherished. When the thought of separation has been changed to one of true forgiveness, will the world be seen in quite another light, and one that leads to truth, where all the world must disappear and all its errors vanish. And that is paragraphs 1 through 4. This is Alan Watson's commentary. The first sentence answers the question, the world is false perception. The rest of the page is the explanation of this summary statement. Some of us, on first reading the Course, think that perhaps the Course is not saying that the world is unreal, but that our perception of it is false. Yet here, quite clearly, Jesus is saying that the world and false perception are the same thing. The world is a hallucination. We are perceiving something that isn't there. In my perception, I am inside my head looking out at a world that is not me, separate, and that is simply not the truth. There is no world outside my mind. What is projected out and seems to be external to the mind is not outside at all. The world was born of error, and it has not left our minds which sourced it. As the Course so often says, ideas leave not their source. The world is the mistaken idea of separation in our minds, and it has never left our minds. When our mind, the one mind we all share, no longer cherishes the idea of separation, the world which represents that idea will simply disappear. Many who were raised in a religious tradition which taught that God created the world have gone through a lot of distress and confusion, wondering how God could have ever created such a mess. If He was responsible for this, we weren't sure we wanted to know Him. What a relief it is to realize that He did not create it. It was born of the error of our mind from our mistakenly entertaining the idea of separation. The misery of this world only reflects the misery brought to our mind by the thought of separation. It is as if we wondered, what if we were separate, and we were instantly given a virtual reality tour of what would result. An early lesson said, I can escape from this world by giving up attack thoughts. The thought is the same. Heal the attack thoughts, the thoughts of separation which I still cherish, and I can leave the world behind. The Course is helping us to do just that, to let our attack thoughts go and solve the problems of the world at their source. Thank you so much for joining with me in this lesson and reading today of What is the World? Lesson 241. Of course, I can't turn the page again. This holy instant is salvation come. I love you.